Mia opens her mouth and says something. The protagonist broke her leg while running. Who still remembers the promise we made when we set off? The story of Tower of Fantasy, although jokingly referred to as finding brothers and sisters. But in reality, the driving force of the plot has always been a promise. A promise to a little intelligent servant. We once promised Mia that 4 people would come back together. This is the true purpose of travel. There are 4 times when the goal is closest to completion. The first time was on Cetus Island. Help Zeke wake up the transformed Shirley. But Zeke still chose to believe in the Sage. The second time was in the Volan snowplain. Save Shirley from coma with Zeke. Then they attacked Aida's headquarters. The third time was at the top of Vesperia Tower. Fight against the Sage with Zeke and his sister. Then Zeke entered the chaos of time and space. The fourth time was in Domain 9. Re-encounter Zeke after amnesia. But he didn't recognize Shirley until she had an accident. 4 opportunities. Not a single successful fulfillment. No wonder Mia is so sad. Okay, it's not Glad Joke anymore. Next, let's take a look at the main theme of this update together. After learning that Shirley passed out, we immediately arrived at Infinite Sundial. Lan and Ming Jing have been waiting here. At this time, if going to the Xingong at the first time, it will be found that the Tempo supercomputer inside has disappeared for a while. The details were done very well this time. We learned from Lan's mouth. Tempo's supercomputer doesn't walk anymore. However, the functionality was not affected. Domain 9 didn't have a big trouble. Where did Tempo's supercomputer go? In Shirley's memory in the second half of the story. Zeke unexpectedly heard the voice of Tempo's supercomputer. It seems that even if the memory has been deserted, you are committed to a chance to make up for it. Doubt that Tempo's supercomputer's consciousness has entered Shirley's body? Speaking of which, we have to talk about the abnormality of Tempo's supercomputer. Nemesis's actions were carried out under the eyes of Tempo's supercomputer. This is true in Heartway and Xingong. Tempo's supercomputer's setting is a supercomputer that is good at calculus. It can deduce possible future situations based on existing conditions. For example, Jiyu knew she would meet us. But since the appearance of Nemesis, the information given by Tempo's supercomputer is ambiguous. For example, the warning in the Heartway. Just saying that in the future, we will experience even greater challenges. It obviously knows something. It even met Nemesis. But it's just unclear. The main theme is a real figure. In the plot, Nemesis showed her true body when calculating coordinates. Tempo's supercomputer was right in front of her. It also failed to stop in a timely manner. From this perspective, Tempo's supercomputer is more like an accomplice of Nemesis. Don't forget, Nemesis was able to authorize Infinite Sundial's Omnium reactor. It was realized by Tempo's supercomputer. Sometimes I doubt Nemesis. Could it also exist like Tempo's supercomputer? She is also aware of supercomputers. So Tempo's supercomputer chose to help her. Then she could be able to invade Jestos. After seeing Shirley in a coma, the executor is a bit nervous. The protagonist's feelings are different from those of others. If we call back the time, we will find that Shirley said goodbye to the executor. For others, Shirley's fainting was an accident. But the executor has seen Sally's flag before. The executor is more anxious than others. Lan continued to talk about the failure of Jestos. We have already witnessed this process in the main storyline. At first, it was because Jestos was weak. Then it was the invasion of Nemesis. To be honest, Nemesis is a bit wronged. It was Jestos who crashed first. Then Nemesis came to help calculate the coordinates. Later on, she also invaded the area. It can be said that there is no Nemesis. The coordinates of the Hive Mother cannot be calculated. The decisive battle of Domain 9 is also impossible. In this way, Nemesis is the hero. But now all the mistakes are blamed on Nemesis. This may be due to a different stance. If we stand in the position of Domain 9, instead, thank Nemesis for her help. Isn't this very interesting? Ming Jing finds Shirley is unconscious. Finally made up his mind to talk to us. Ming Jing restores memory. In the plot, it's always unclear but suggestive. Although he can't remember anything, there will always be some impression. Shirley's coma further irritated him. We have to say that Zeke has always been a good brother. But he has never been a good leader. No matter where he is, either at the Asterschelt or Aquaville. After learning about his identity, immediately transform into a fanatic pet girl. Give Aquaville to Jiyu and run away. The protagonist promised Ming Jing, and inner voices began to emerge. This is also a highlight of this plot. What is inner voice? People who want to read novels are not unfamiliar. The voice of one's heart can reflect the inner activities of a character. More helpful in understanding the thoughts of the characters in the book. This also makes the executor more thoughtful. He has been wondering whether to tell Zeke the truth. But until now, no decision has been made yet. The protagonist still cares what Shirley thinks. That's why we need the little cutie Mia's assist. After Ming Jing and Lan leave, Lin came with Mia one after another. We finally know the reason why Mia has been offline for so long. Because Celestial Gate Channel may affect Mia. The protagonist asks Lin and Ruby to take care of her. The arrival of Lin is not just to send intelligent servants. She also brings the memories we backed up. After Nemesis invaded Jestos, Shirley has become a suspect. If headquarters wants to take action, these materials will become a soft spot that constrains the protagonist. With Hycrosis technology, I doubt whether the executor will be directly wiped out. Lin can bring us the information as soon as possible. Enough to illustrate her position. Lin is also worried about Domain 9 Tower of Fantasy, and then lead to Cataclysm. But obviously, she overthought it. It can also be seen from here that the purpose of Nemesis is not to destroy. Lin also mentioned Mia's premonition. Some people suspect that little cute has something to do with Jestos. But this speculation has no basis. At least the initial setting. Mia is just a fourth-generation intelligent servant. If there is anything special, that means Mia is already very close to humans in personification. The premonition here is more like human intuition. Lynn also brings news from headquarters. But she's not very optimistic about the headquarters either. They are all a group of old foxes who eat people and don't spit out bones. One side is the conservative faction advocating for maintaining the status quo. On the one hand, the Omnium Energy faction advocates continuing to use the new magic tower. The new Tower of Fantasy of Domain 9 is the key point to break the balance. Originally, this is a victory for the primitive faction. But as Gestos goes wrong, conservatives will take advantage of this opportunity to launch a challenge. Vera failed to restart Tower of Fantasy. It's also related to them. It seems that Vera has been waiting for an opportunity to restart Tower of Fantasy. If nothing happens to Gestos, maybe the current Vera has also recovered its original energy supply. Lynn said that and went to CMSYU. Afterwards, it will be cute Mia's home court. She mentioned that similar things happened on Cetus Island. This idea was actually spoken for the protagonist. Even without Mia's reminder, the Executor will also do the same in the future. There is a reason for arranging Mia in the plot. She needs to help the Executor make a choice. Does she want to confess her identity and the past to Zeke? Prior to this, the Executor has been vacillating because of Shirley's consideration. It was Mia's encouragement that strengthened the Executor's idea. Arrived at the market and found that Zeke was waiting here. Both sides have no ink stains. Direct showdown of Zeke's identity. But at this time, Zeke has no impression. He's like listening to someone else's story. But the protagonist is him. Although Zeke didn't recover his memory. But the personality of the beloved sister's madness awakened. After learning that the Executor plans to go to Cetus Island to wake Sally up, he's ready to pick up the bucket and run away immediately. How similar this scene is to Astra. At this moment, Yanhua appears. She's here to help Evans pass the message. Ask the Executor to return to Hycros for questioning. Yanhua was in the decisive battle of Domain 9 against Darkness Invasion, coming to support Ignisville. So her arrival was not unexpected. But we were surprised when she mentioned the doctor. Mia proposed to go to Cetus Island to save people. The Executor makes a decision and discusses it with Zeke later. As soon as Yanhua appeared, she directly mentioned the doctor. And pay attention to what she says. It's the best way for Yanhua to deal with it. That is to say, this is not Evans's arrangement. But it was her own decision. This is really the best way for Shirley and Hycros. But why does she think so? At the beginning, Nemesis was awakened on Cetus Island. Experienced by Zeke, the Executor, Clariel, Freja, and Mia. The Sage, Franz, and Evans are known indirectly. So does Yanhua's intelligence come from Hycros or the heirs of Ida? The protagonist clearly didn't think so much about it. He thought this was also what Evans meant. So he agreed. But this is also the wisdom of Yanhua. Waking up Shirley is also what the heirs of Ida wants to do. After Nemesis lost control, they also need more intelligence. She made us think Evans asked her to do this. And then when reporting to Evans, she'll use a different language. Make Evans think we insist on doing this. This way, her purpose can be hidden. After meeting Yanhua, Zeke went to find Jiyu to resign. There's also a small issue here. Who on earth set Shirley to Cetus Island? The current Shirley and Tempo's supercomputer are related to the downtime of Gestos. She can't be moved around casually. If Shirley is really lost, Hycros headquarters will put pressure on Domain 9. Now Shirley is guilty. So the only person who can transfer Shirley is Hycros. That is Yanhua. Because of her. So the heirs of Ida can monitor Shirley the first time. Do you now know who installed the surveillance? Soon we came to the Jingong. After a lot of praise from MSYU, Zeke resigned successfully. This is also a transaction between both parties. Jiyu helps him find clues of the past. He is helping Aquaville get through the difficulties. This transaction is a bit familiar. The relationship between the Executor and the District 9 of Hycros is the same. Hycros provides Zeke with clues. The Executor helps Hycros do things. Now Zeke has found it. Can the transaction also be concluded? After leaving Jingong, we soon arrived at Cetus Island. We were greeted by Franz. And Shirley has already been made arrangements. It also proves that the person who brought Shirley here is not the protagonist. Franz and Zeke are old acquaintances. He is the old friend of Zeke's parents. No wonder he appeared on Astra. Zeke's parents were killed indirectly by Hycros. Franz is the most suitable business contact. But this foreshadowing has been buried long enough. The protagonist's ideas are different. At first glance, she felt like she had to work again. Fortunately, this plot did not arrange such a task. But we found that many people actually feel a bit uncomfortable. They think the plot this time is a bit short. If it is designed according to traditional routines, before conducting the experiment, people must first prepare some materials. To restore memory, one must also hallucinate and restore it at the same time. This makes the plot appear longer. But is this really what players want? The traditional plot has always been this routine. Seeing the lock, looking for the key. Cooking requires finding ingredients. This is also the reason why people criticize migrant workers. In fact, task scheduling has never been a problem. The problem is to arrange something interesting. The hero defeating the Demon King is a timeless routine. But the quality of the story determines the quality of the work. This time, the plot directly cuts off these links. Seems to have reduced the burden. But it also made the plot process boring. The game plot is not a continuous bombardment of copy. It won't be a meaningless career either. But rather the complementary interaction between players and copywriting. In this regard, Tower of Fantasy still needs to continue exploring. In fact, there are also workers in the plot. It's just that Yanhua did it for us. Just wait for Zeke to wake up. Why did Zeke meet Tempo's supercomputer in his dream? Why can't Shirley wake up after she knows each other? What is the heirs of Ida plotting? What will Hycros' headquarters do? Let's continue our discussion in the next issue. That's all for this issue. Follow Xiaofeng to experience a different Tower of Fantasy.